She believed in herself enough. Chicago Fire showrunner explains Stella's pregnancy twist. Stella Kid, Miranda Ray Mayo, and Kelly Severide, Taylor Kinney, had been looking to expand their family throughout Chicago Fire Season 13. The couple considered numerous routes, each coming with its challenges. However, the season finale delivered some surprising news for them when Stella revealed she was pregnant. Pregnancy had been a touchy subject since it would have profound effects on her. They both had, especially Kid, some real issues and hesitations around it, and it didn't feel right to have her just jump into it from the start. Severide was ready before she was. In his mind, it was simpler for him for a bunch of reasons. It is more complicated for a female firefighter than a male firefighter, showrunner Andrea Newman explained to TV Insider. And in terms of just how they saw their own childhoods, it was complicated. But for Kid especially so, and this season was really about her coming to understand all of that and understand the things that happened when her cousin came, and she got to really explore and talk about for the first time. Her aunt being so depressed after her pregnancy, the showrunner continued. The couple went through the adoption stages, and Stella witnessed another side of pregnancy and motherhood. Even with Natalie, she learned valuable lessons, and this empowered her. Sigyn explained how, saying, Sigyn said that pregnancy would affect Stella and Severide's lives, but she didn't know to what degree yet. We always do that between seasons time jump. How much of a time jump, we don't know. But I think the way we are looking at it, and who knows exactly what'll happen with this pregnancy journey for her. But what we want is that idea that parents who are first responders face, which is the stakes go so high, she said. You think they're high now when you're married to the person in a firehouse. What if you're both trapped in a fire together and realizing you're going to leave your child orphan essentially, which is what happened to Kid when she was young. So it's a big fear of hers. And now, yeah, the stakes are just up. Everything gets dialed up when you deal with children on a call. You see the face of your own child. Sigyn continued, adding, the extent to which this will affect Stella and Severide will be known when season 14 returns this fall. Stay tuned to Collider for more updates. The sirens were still echoing from last week's heart-racing Chicago Fire episode when fans were hit with a twist no one saw coming. Stella Kid is pregnant. For a character as fiercely independent and resilient as Stella, the storyline sent shockwaves through Firehouse 51 and across the fandom. But according to Chicago Fire showrunner Andrea Newman, the twist wasn't just for shock value. It was the culmination of years of character growth and one very personal mantra. She believed in herself enough. Stella has always been a warrior, Newman says, sitting in the writer's room with episode outlines and character arcs pinned across the wall. She's fought her way through the firehouse ranks. She's battled imposter syndrome, dealt with near-death experiences, and led her Girls on Fire program with the kind of passion that inspires everyone around her. But for us, the real story was always going to be about her learning to trust herself, not just as a firefighter or a leader, but as a woman stepping into a new chapter of her life. The pregnancy reveal came at the tail end of the mid-season final. Stella and Severide had just returned from a grueling, days-long wildfire deployment. They were dirty, exhausted, and emotionally raw. In a quiet moment back at their apartment, half-lit by the glow of the Chicago skyline, Stella took a breath, looked Severide in the eye, and whispered, "I think I'm pregnant." The screen cut to black before Severide could respond. Newman explains that the writers knew the moment had to be subtle and honest. We didn't want a big dramatic fainting scene or over-the-top reveal. That's not who Stella is. She processes quietly. She takes her time. And she's not someone who immediately spirals into fear. She's grounded. And that strength is what makes her story so compelling. Still, Newman admits that the idea of pregnancy wasn't always in the cards for Stella, at least not this season. "We tossed around a few different arcs," she says. "But when we started looking at where she was emotionally, her growth, her leadership, her dynamic with Severide, it just felt right." But it wasn't just about motherhood. It was about agency, about a woman making a choice and owning it fully. One of the most interesting aspects of the twist is how it plays into Stella's relationship with Severide. The two have weathered everything from job changes and distance to emotional trauma and miscommunication. And yet, their bond has remained one of the most stable on the show. "We really wanted to honor what Stella and Severide have built," Newman says. "They're not perfect, but they've done the work. And this pregnancy isn't a plot device to pull them apart. It's a mirror. It shows how much they've grown, how much they've learned to trust each other." When asked how Severide will react, Newman smiles. "You'll see, but I'll say this. Severide's arc this season is going to surprise a lot of people. He's been the lone wolf for so long, and now he's facing the biggest teamwork challenge of his life: parenthood." Of course, fans immediately began wondering how this twist would impact Stella's position at the Firehouse. As one of the highest-ranking women in Firehouse 51, her presence has always been a source of inspiration, especially for newer recruits. "Representation matters," Newman says. "And that includes showing that strong women can make choices about family without sacrificing their careers. That's something we want to explore authentically. There's no one-size-fits-all story here." According to Newman, upcoming episodes will focus on Stella navigating the early stages of pregnancy while still running full throttle at work. But it won't all be smooth sailing. "We're not sugarcoating anything," she says. "Stella is going to face very real fears about her body, her identity, her ability to lead." And that's where the title of the arc came from internally. She believed in herself enough. That's the heart of it. One moment Newman teases is an upcoming scene between Stella and Chief Bowden, who has been both mentor and father figure throughout her journey. There's a scene where Stella goes to Bowden with her concerns, Newman shares. She says, "What if I'm not cut out for both?" And Bowden looks at her and says, "Kid, you've always been more than one thing. You're fire, you're steel, and your heart. Don't forget that. It's one of my favorite moments of the season." Beyond the Firehouse, fans can also expect to see more of Stella's Girls on Fire program, a storyline that will now take on deeper meaning as Stella reflects on mentorship, legacy, and what it means to raise strong young women. This isn't just a baby plotline, Newman reiterates. It's about identity, leadership, and evolution. We want to show a woman who can hold space for her career and her future as a mother, and who refuses to let fear write her story. As for Miranda Ray Mayo, the actress behind Stella, Newman has nothing but praise. Miranda poured herself into this arc. She brought so much nuance, strength, vulnerability, humor. She's the soul of Firehouse 51 right now. In the final moments of our conversation, Newman shares a note she wrote on the whiteboard when the arc was greenlit. She believed in herself enough to carry the flame forward. It's a mantra not just for Stella, but for every woman watching who wonders if they can do it all. And with Stella Kid leading the way, the answer is a resounding yes.